They're taking 9-year-old boys out into alleys and executing them to prove a point. I don't know how much more evil you can get than that. How do we overcome that? With good. Even people who don't deserve it. Because we don't deserve it. I don't deserve one of you to love me. I don't. I don't deserve God to love me. I don't. You know the secret? Neither do you. But how do we overcome the evil that's even in our own lives? By doing good. And so treat people how you want to be treated. Say things about them how you want people to say about you. Talk about them the way you want people to talk about you. Help them the way you want to be helped. Keep that first step, and you'll be a good person. People will point and say, look, even lost people will point at you. They're disgusted by the fact that you're a Christian. They don't like your rules. They don't like your God. They don't like your religion. But they'll look at you and say, that's a good person, though. He's a good person. They can respect you because of your good. All right? I'm not sure how much further we'll get. Number 2, love others as Jesus has loved you. That's John chapter 13, verses 34 and 35. We already kind of went over that. Love people the way Jesus loved you. We already asked the question, but it's true. When does Jesus love me? How does he love me? All the time, no matter what. No matter what. Again, Sean Patrick, I love. But he doesn't always obey me. Sometimes directly disobey me. He's even told me no. Now, that was in the early years. He's learned different to say that now. It took some work. But every time he disobeyed me, did that mean I did not love him? No. I still loved him. Was not happy with him. Had to correct him. Had to fix the problem. But I still loved him. Love others as Jesus loved you. You'll be a good person. That'll make you a kind person. Number 3, do not complain about being generous to others. 1 Peter 4:9. Don't complain about it. Don't complain about being generous. Don't complain about that you got to help somebody. Somebody's in need, and you help it, and you complain the whole time. You let them know too. You ever had that? It's almost like, dude, don't help me then. But I really need your help, so go ahead, I'm going to take it. But it makes you feel small, doesn't it? If somebody has to help you and they complain about it all the way, it makes you feel small. Don't make people feel that way. Don't complain about doing good for others and being generous to others and have to help someone. Don't complain about it. The Bible says something about being a cheerful giver. And I remember one time when I was a pastor of a little church in Brownstown, and I told people one time, I said, if you can't give cheerfully, I really don't want your money. After I got done preaching that, the deacon of the church came up to me and says, never tell people we don't want their money. My point is if you can't give it happily, if you can't give without complaining about it, it's almost like dirty money. Don't complain about giving to others. Don't complain about it. It will not make you a good person. It makes the other person feel small. And guess what? If they're not a very good Christian, or if they're a lost person and you complain about helping them or giving to them, and you make them feel small, do you think maybe they might try to get you back or hurt you? Yeah, they will. They will. You embarrass somebody like that? Don't complain about it. Number 4, let your love for others be genuine. That's Romans 12, 9 through 13. Get it in your heart and be a genuine lover of others. That'll make you a good person. Now, at first, you may just have to practice at it.
Fake it till you make it.
Almost. Here's the thing. The more involved you get with people, the easier it is to love them. The further away you are from people, the easier it is not to love them. Before I came to Chicago, by the way, I had a chance to come to Chicago a year earlier before I came, and I told the person, never. I would never go to Chicago. I'm a smaller city guy, more of a redneck, and Chicago scared me. There's people dying in Chicago every day. They're shooting them. Why would I want to go to Chicago? Finally ended up coming to Chicago. But there was no way I'm ever going to the South Side. Ever. The pastor gets up and announces, we're going to try to start a ministry on the South Side. I kept saying, don't let him ask me. Don't let him ask me. Don't let him ask me. Came to me right afterwards. Mike, I have big plans for you on the South Side. No. I did not want to go to the South Side. I go to the South Side and I start getting involved with the people on the South Side, and my fears and my misunderstandings and even some of my dislike fades away. And the more involved I get with these people, the more I love them on the South Side. And the more they love me. First meeting. I'm getting to teach and bring in all these people. One guy stands up. Now the lady that runs this shelter, he turns to her. He doesn't even look at me. Turns to her and says, why are we listening to this white guy? He has no clue what's going on here. How's that for a welcome? And for weeks, that guy was on me all the time. I would teach something and he would holler out, that won't work here. This is the streets. This is the South Side. That won't work here. And I kept teaching and preaching and falling in love with them. And they slowly fell in love with me. Now he comes and he hugs me and says how much he can't wait for our lesson. Another guy named Pamela. Same thing. He would say the same thing. I would teach something, a point, and he'd say, that won't work here. I'm on the street. That won't work. The other day, he'd come, and he said, I love it here. I can't wait till Mike shows up. Can't wait till Mike shows up. Make your love genuine. And how do you do that? You have to get involved with people. It's easy to be a 40-year-old man and saying, or a 40-year-old woman, and look at kids these days, teenagers, and say, oh my goodness, what are they? They're all going to hell. Look how terrible they are. How horrible they are. How scary they are. But if you get involved in their lives, you begin to love them. You want to be a good person, have genuine love for people. How do you get genuine love for people? You're going to have to get involved. Pastor said, I'm going to let you work with drug addicts and alcoholics. Scared to death of them. They scare me. Sometimes they still scare me. But you start getting involved in their lives, begin to love them. Genuine love. That's kindness. That's good. That makes you a good person when you have genuine love. I got a few more minutes. The Bible says in number 5, be kind to strangers. That's Hebrews 13, 1 and 2. Be kind to strangers. People you don't even meet. One of the things that drives my wife crazy when we first got married, we'd be going through with the cashier, right? And I'll talk to the cashier. I'll just be talking, and after we leave, she goes, well, how do you know her? Oh, I don't. What? How long have you known? I've never known her. And it blows her away. How can you have a conversation with a stranger? The Bible says be kind to strangers. You know what the extra part of that is? Be kind to strangers because you might meet an angel. Now that happened with me. I was kind to one stranger and I got an angel. And then I married her. No, that's not what it means. But this is on videotape, so now she gets to hear it. Be kind to strangers. You don't know what is going to come of that, or what may come of that. But it makes you a good person. Make that a rule. Even people you don't know, be kind to them. Be courteous. Find ways to go out of your way for them. I taught this one time about being kind to strangers, and I happened to mention, hold the door open for people and just see what they say. So a guy took me up on it. He went to the mall, and he just stood around the door and holding the door for people. He just wanted to see what happened. And he came back and he goes, everybody smiled, and everybody said, thank you. It was amazing. Find ways to be good to strangers. Be kind to them. Be kind to them. If you want to be a good person, be kind to strangers, the Bible says. Number 6, do not return evil for evil. 1 Peter 3, 8 through 12. Good people do not seek revenge. Smart people do not seek revenge. Because does it end there? No. This is a problem I had when I was younger in my life. If you got me, I had to get you. Now, I got pretty good at it. I was pretty sneaky. And I would remember whatever you did to me, and I would find secret ways to get you. And I would get you. After a while, some of those things began to make me feel really bad. God and I had to really work on that. And I ruined relationships and friendships and opportunities with people because I had to get back people who had gotten me. Sometimes they didn't really get me. I thought they had. But I got them back. Good people don't do that. The Bible says we're not supposed to seek revenge because our Father will do it for us. So whenever you seek revenge, whose work are you trying to do? Whose job are you trying to do? God's. So give me a little leeway here. You're not any better than Satan then, are you? Because what did Satan say? I'm going to be like God. And so if I step in and say, hey, I'm going to take God's job away from him, I'm going to seek revenge, who's that really from then? Satan. And you're not acting any worse than he is. Let God do his job. He'll do the revenge. So what am I supposed to do when somebody does evil to me? We already talked about it. How do we overcome somebody's evil? By doing good. By doing good. The Bible even says if you do that, you put like coals of fire on their head. And everybody has all kinds of explanations what that means. So you're going to get one more. I believe it's pressure. This worked for me one place where I worked. There was this guy